Imagine this. You've worked hard to improve, to learn, to evolve. You've become stronger, wiser, calmer. And someone, maybe out of jealousy, maybe out of insecurity, tries to chain you back to that old version of yourself. What do you say? How do you respond without anger, without losing your peace, and with power instead of pain? Today, you'll discover 5 powerful ways to respond when someone uses your past against you, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophers. By the end of this video, you'll have words ready to protect your peace, assert your growth, and show that your past is your teacher, not your jailer. Number 1. That version of me doesn't live here anymore. When someone brings up your history, the natural responses that come to mind are typically defensiveness, guilt, or anger at the person. There is a possibility that you will experience the impulse to justify yourself, to explain why things occurred in the manner that they did, or even to apologize for something that you have already found out about. Relaxation, on the other hand, is the most effective response. You may quickly establish authority over your story by simply announcing, "That version of me does not live here anymore." This will prevent them from having any reason to attack you. This phrase may appear to be straightforward, yet it actually has multiple layers of significance. To begin, it asserts that you are no longer constrained by the person that you were in the past. Mistakes, regrets, and decisions made on the spur of the moment are all now considered to be closed chapters. In his book Meditations, Marcus Aurelius makes the following statement: "The impediment to action advances action. Whatever is in the way will eventually become the way." Your history is not a hindrance in this context. Rather, it is the fundamental basis upon which you have been able to progress. Every single mistake, every single blunder, and every single instance of failure served as a lesson that bolstered your character. You are able to retake ownership of your tale when you acknowledge that your previous self does not live here with you anymore. One of the most influential Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, echoes this viewpoint by saying, "It is not what happens to you that matters. What matters is how you react it." In the event that someone attempts to force you to confront your history, their words are meaningless until you give them a specific interpretation. By asserting in a composed manner that your previous version has been removed, you are refusing to give their judgment any power. They are able to communicate, but their words no longer have the power to control your feelings or define who you are at this moment. Imagine a situation that actually occurs in the real world. A coworker brings up a project that you headed 2 years ago that was unsuccessful in an effort to undercut your confidence. As a typical response, one might feel humiliated, defend themselves, or even explain what happened. On the other hand, if you remark in a composed manner, "That version of me does not live here anymore," you accomplish 3 very important things at the same time. 1. You put an end to the assault without elevating the conflict further. 2. You make it clear that you have matured and gained knowledge, so transforming the criticism into a silent monument to your dogged determination. 3. You should remind them, as well as yourself, that you are no longer under the influence of the past. In addition, Seneca provides some more insight by saying, "Every new beginning comes from the end of some other beginning." The mistakes you've made in the past are not anchors. Rather, they are the endings that have allowed you to become the person you are nowadays. You are marking a new beginning, a personal evolution that no one else can challenge. When you declare that the previous version of yourself does not exist anymore. In addition, this phrase has a defensive purpose, which is another layer. It is common for words that are designed to humiliate or manipulate you to rely on your emotional response. It is possible that you will deprive the other person of the satisfaction that they are looking for if you answer with calm authority. This is the core of Stoic philosophy. You have the capacity to regulate your own inner serenity, and the only way for external circumstances to have any influence is if you give them permission to do so. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes that you have control over your mind and not over the events that occur outside of it. Recognize this, and you will discover the strength you need. This very power is being exercised by you when you declare that your previous self is no longer present. In addition to being a response that is stated, this phrase can also be used as a personal mantra. When you are feeling ashamed, when you are having self-doubt, or when you are being criticized, repeat it to yourself. It helps you educate your mind to separate from feelings of guilt and shame, and it serves as a reminder that growth is a process rather than a destination. You will become unshakable as a result of this mental discipline over time. In conclusion, this method of replying is intrinsically respectful. It is not necessary for you to argue, defend, or explain to anyone else. It is not necessary for you to make a note of every single step forward, every single change that was made, or every single lesson that you have learned. The simple confession that you are no longer defined by your history is more powerful than any argument that there could possibly be. The concept of self-mastery is referred to by Epictetus, who states that no man is free who is not master of himself. You are asserting your right to freedom, tranquility, and unwavering power when you manage your response to your history and to the attempts of others to weaponize it. If you say something like, "That version of me does not live here anymore," you are not merely making a comeback. Rather, you are making a proclamation of your sovereignty. You are making a statement that you are in charge of your own narrative, that you are the one who defines your identity, and that you refuse to let your past sins bind you. Because true power does not lay in deleting the past, but rather in evolving beyond it. Anyone who attempts to trap you in your past will find you unbothered, serene, and impossibly strong. This is because the past is not the source of true power. Number 2. Thank you for reminding me how far I've come. The following is a comment that completely changes the way the story is told. The majority of people experience an immediate surge of defensiveness or embarrassment whenever they are confronted with statements such as, "Remember when you did this?" or "You used to be that person." They might wish to defend themselves, provide an explanation, or even hit back. However, the most effective answer is not a debate. Rather, it is a calm expression of thanks. The phrase, "Thank you for reminding me how far I've come," is all that is required. This is not merely a smart form of retaliation. It is an assertion of emotional mastery that is strategic in nature. When people see reminders of your history, they anticipate that they will cause you to feel guilty, embarrassed, or angry. The ancient Greek philosopher Seneca issued a warning, stating, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." To put it another way, their attempt to exert influence over you is only effective if you allow it to have an effect on you. By expressing thanks in response to their attack, you immediately take control of the situation and change their criticism into acknowledgement of your progress. Consider how it would work in actual situations. Imagine that a coworker at your place of employment brings up a presentation that you delivered 2 years ago that was unsuccessful, with the intention of embarrassing you in front of your team. The response that is anticipated is one of defensiveness, possibly even including an awkward silence or an emotional apologies. Instead, you have a smile on your face and say, "Thank you for bringing to my attention how far I've come." There are 3 events that take place in that one instant. You take back control of the situation. The discourse moves away from your previous shortcomings and toward your current development. You have successfully reframed the narrative, which means that they are no longer able to portray you as incapable. 2. You exhibit self-assurance. Your thankful and calm tone demonstrates that you have control over your feelings. According to a quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. Your refusal to react with fury demonstrates a level of power that they are unable to challenge at this time. A quote attributed to Epictetus states that difficulties show a person what they are. You teach without engaging in confrontation. You are effectively educating kids in a covert manner that errors are not weapons, but rather lessons. Adversity can be changed into wisdom, as evidenced by your growth, which is confirmation of this. This phrase also reduces the toxicity of the situation. Most of the time, those who bring up your past do it out of envy, insecurity, or a desire to impose control over you. They are disarmed by gratitude. Your emotional independence, the fact that their words cannot affect you, and the fact that you are no longer living in the past are all evidence that you are no longer there. Their attempt to humiliate or manipulate you is unsuccessful in a manner that is understated, sophisticated, and comprehensive. Consider the following scenario. A buddy purposefully brings up a point in your life when you were socially uncomfortable or timid in an effort to make you feel self-conscious. You choose to respond with gratitude rather than embarrassment, saying, "Thank you for reminding me how far I've come." All of a sudden, something that was meant to insult you transforms into a recognition of your personal development. Strength is communicated more effectively than any argument could be by your ability to maintain your composure and acknowledge your process of development. In his book, Meditations, Marcus Aurelius tells us that if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Therefore, there is no need for you to dispute or prove anything when you apply this to your past. The truth is that you have matured, and the fact that you responded to that statement is sufficient evidence to prove that truth. Your actions are not a denial of the past. Rather, they are evidence that you are no longer under the influence of the past. Moreover, there is a mental method that can be implemented here. This sentence might serve as a personal mantra for you. You should silently repeat the following phrase whenever you find yourself thinking about past errors. "Thank you for reminding me how far I've come." Reframing criticism and self-judgment as an appreciation of progress is a skill that may be trained through this process. There is an increase in self-respect, a development of resilience, and a reinforcement of a sense of personal authority. Last but not least, this response exemplifies both beauty and respect. There is no need for you to justify your decisions, explain who you are, or relive memories that have caused you anguish. You recognize growth, and the mere act of acknowledging growth is sufficiently disarming. The individual who is attempting to humiliate you is aware, even if only subconsciously, that they no longer have any influence or control over you. Shame has been converted into strength, judgment into recognition, and mistakes made in the past have been transformed into evidence of human development. Saying, "Thank you for reminding me how far I've come," is in essence a communication strategy that encompasses much more than just words. It is a protection for your tranquility, a declaration of emotional mastery, and a reminder that your growth is undeniable in a way that is both quiet and strong. Those who attempt to use your history against you are immediately confronted with a reality that they are unable to refute. You are more powerful, more knowledgeable, and more unshakable than ever before. And your history is merely the basis upon which your power is built. Number 3. You seem stuck there. I've moved on. People will sometimes bring up your past, not because they are trying to hurt you, but rather because they have not dealt with their own. Whether it be envy, insecurities, or concerns, they are projecting those feelings onto you. You are no longer required to defend yourself or take part in a discussion after you have comprehended this fact. Respond with a calm and authoritative tone instead. You appear to be stuck there. I've moved on with my life. Something powerful is accomplished by this phrase. It sheds light on the true problem, which is their incapacity to progress. You are able to demonstrate your progress while drawing attention to their stagnation by making this observation without displaying any resentment. The following is an excerpt from Letters from a Stoic, which Seneca wrote. Let us train our minds to desire what the situation demands. To put it another way, do not spend your time and energy on unnecessary debates. Concentrate on the things that will bring you peace and progress. Their obsession with your history is not based on the truth. Rather, it is a manifestation of their dread of your development. Consider the following hypothetical situation. A member of your family brings up mistakes you did many years ago in an effort to guilt you into complying or conforming to their expectations. You choose to remain calm and say, you appear to be stuck there, rather than engaging in a heated dispute. I've moved on with my life. This one statement accomplishes three different things. 1. It recognizes reality without resorting to aggression. You are not assaulting them. You are only speaking the truth. 2. It is evidence of emotional maturity, since you are not falling into the trap of defensiveness, which is a problem that frequently leads to confrontation. 3. It helps you establish and maintain your boundaries by demonstrating that your development is non-negotiable and not open to their evaluation. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius tells us that you have power over your mind, not over events that occur outside of yourself. Recognize this, and you will discover the strength you need. When it comes to your peace of mind, it is not contingent on their acceptance or how they view your history. You are asserting that your present and future are solely yours alone when you declare that you have moved on from the past. They are no longer able to bind you to outdated narratives, and you are free to disengage from them. In addition, this reaction teaches them something without going into direct confrontation with them. Because of this, they are forced to confront a reflection that they might not like. While they continue to be focused with what has already occurred, you have developed, adapted, and progressed. It is a lesson in mental and emotional fortitude that is not spoken about, but cannot be denied. Moreover, there is a psychological aspect of strategic planning involved here. When someone brought up your history on multiple occasions, their intention was to elicit a response from you, whether it be anger, shame, or guilt. Their weapon loses its edge when you say in a calm manner that you have moved on with your life. The attempts that they make to exert influence on you are made worthless, and your unwavering serenity becomes a demonstration of strength that is significantly more powerful than any words or arguments could ever be. In addition to that, this phrase can be used as a source of personal conviction. In the event that previous critiques or recollections come to the surface, repeat it to yourself. You appear to be stuck there. I've moved on with my life. Your mind will become more resilient to criticism, judgment, and manipulation based on the past as a result of this. It stresses the notion that you are in control of your emotional state, that your growth is holy, and that no one can derail you by clinging to history. It also emphasizes that your growth is respected. In conclusion, this statement is characterized by its clarity and dignity. Your wrath does not overtake you, and you do not find yourself drawn into debates that are futile. You instead assert the truth, which is that you are no longer defined by the events that have in the past. The energy that you have is not for the incapacity of another person to progress. Rather, it is kept for your own present and future. Simply put, you are stating, you appear to be stuck there. I've moved on is a form of protection as well as a weapon. While simultaneously slicing through the illusions that other people may attempt to impose on you, it safeguards your peace of mind. In a quiet way, it is a declaration that your evolution is your own, unshakable and unstoppable. Your ability to go forward with clarity, strength, and independence is in contrast to those who continue to cling to the past and remain stuck in their immobility. Number 4. Everyone has a past. Not everyone learns from it. You will need to establish a boundary at some point. At some point, you will be confronted with repeated attempts to humiliate you because of your past, and you will need to respond with a firm and calm response. Everyone has a past. Some people do not grow as a result of it. This statement is more than just a phrase. It is a proclamation of self-respect, growth, and wisdom. People who try to use your history against you frequently do so because they are stuck in their own history. This is the rationale behind their actions. They attempt to exert control over or decrease your present by projecting their fears, insecurities, and limits onto you. You have established a clear boundary by responding with this statement. Your history is yours to keep, and your progression is not something that can be negotiated. Difficulties show a person what they are, Seneca says in Letters from a Stoic, drawing our attention to this fact. Failures, mistakes, and regrets that you have experienced are not punishments. Rather, they are lessons that have helped you develop your character and become the person that you have become. Take, for instance, a real-world scenario. Imagine that a coworker is constantly bringing up a project that was unsuccessful many years ago in order to undermine your present level of expertise. To embarrass you or to cause you to question your own abilities is their objective. Their purpose would be furthered by a response that was either angry or defensive. Instead, you say in a composed manner, "Everyone has a history. Some people do not grow as a result of it." Instantaneously, you change the dynamic. What they intended to be a weapon becomes a recognition of your development. You are no longer struggling against your history. Rather, you are demonstrating that you have overcome it. This remark also reveals a truth that is not immediately obvious about those who focus on your past. It is possible that they will never change themselves. They continue to be mired in negative emotions such as judgment, blame, and resentment, while you are focused on personal development, learning, and improvement. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius highlights the following: "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth, by which no one has ever truly been harmed." While people who are fixated with your faults reflect their own incapacity to learn from life, you have changed, adapted, and developed as a result of your experiences. Your unruffled acknowledgement draws attention to their lack of aggressiveness without provoking change. What gives this response its impact is the fact that it combines a sense of dignity with a subtle authority. No, you are not debating, you are not explaining, and you are not pleading for comprehension. In doing so, you are making a statement that cannot be refuted. The value of your history lies in the fact that you have transformed it into wisdom. It is a shield that protects your inner calm while also asserting your strength and maturity. It is a shield. In addition, this statement, reframing criticism or humiliation as a reflection of the other person rather than of yourself, is a significant contribution. They refuse to move on with their lives because they are either unwilling or incapable to change. In his teachings, Epictetus emphasizes that what happens to you is not what matters. What matters is how you react to it. You are able to keep your emotional sovereignty by maintaining your refusal to give their judgment any influence over you. You become a living example of how one may rise above mistakes rather than being tied by them, and your growth becomes a living example of this. There is more to practical application than just having chats. Make use of this sentence as a mental mantra whenever you find yourself confronted with old memories, regrets, or critiques. Keep repeating in your head, "Everyone has a history. Some people do not grow as a result of it." Your ability to remain cool, confident, and dignified in any circumstance is strengthened as a result of this training, which teaches your mind to view learning experiences as teachers rather than as threats. In addition to this, there is a subtle psychological advantage. The delivery of this calm and self-assured response breaks the expectations of the person who is expecting you to react with defensiveness or embarrassment. They come to the realization, frequently without doing so consciously, that their attempt to manipulate or demean you has been unsuccessful. Your command of your own narrative transforms into a power that is unmistakable yet subdued. According to the final statement, everyone has a past. The phrase "not everyone learns from it" is a proclamation of national independence. It acts as a barrier, a shield, and a mirror, with the purpose of reflecting growth back to the world. When someone makes an attempt to exploit your history as a weapon, they are revealed to be what they truly are: people who are stuck in judgment, who are unwilling to progress, and who are unable to see power in its natural state. During this time, you continue on your journey without being shaken, becoming wiser and stronger, and being completely in command of your story, your peace, and your life. Number 5. If you're still talking about my past, you're no longer part of my future. This is your last border, a line that brings everything to a close. It is a statement that, when said with composure and self-assurance, signifies the conclusion of any discussion regarding your history. If you are still talking about my history, you are no longer a part of my future. At the same time, it is not an act of rage or a threat. In other words, it is a proclamation of sovereignty over your own life. A statement that your development, peace, and destiny cannot be held captive by the fixation on past that someone else has. According to Seneca, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. This saying serves as a reminder to us. Being preoccupied with judgments, critiques, or failures from the past, whether they are your own or those that have been imposed by others, is a waste of energy. It is possible to safeguard your mental and emotional energies by resolutely refusing to allow the past to take control of the present. You stay focused on what really matters: the actions you do right now, the growth you are experiencing, and the future you are constructing for yourself. Take into consideration a situation that occurs in the actual world. Take, for example, a situation in which a coworker, a member of your family, or even a friend continually brings up mistakes you committed back in the past. Their objective is to ensnare you in feelings of guilt or shame and to cause you to question your inherent capabilities. It's possible that you've already answered with affirmations of calmness, expressions of thankfulness, or reminders of your progress, yet they nevertheless persist. It is time to draw a line, a distinct limit that cannot be crossed, and this is the moment to do so. If you say something like, "If you're still talking about my past, you're no longer part of my future," you are sending a message that you are no longer taking part in repeating this cycle. On the other hand, you are separating yourself from anyone who is hesitant to acknowledge your progression, even though you are not harming them. Within the pages of Meditations, Marcus Aurelius provides some sound advice for this kind of thinking. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. The phrase "be one," convincing other people, justifying your history, or seeking their favor are not the primary focuses of this discussion. In both the now and the future, cultivating growth, integrity, and wisdom is the focus of this guide. Those who are attached to your history are not significant to the life that you are currently constructing. Your energy, attention, and presence are not for those who are trapped in judgment. Rather, they belong to those who are moving ahead. Moreover, this phrase is an effective instrument for fostering self-empowerment. You are able to recover your narrative by simply saying it once, in a calm and forceful manner. Your assertion is that your history does not have any influence over your present, nor will it have any influence over your future. The teachings of Epictetus are applicable in this situation. It is not what happens to you that matters. What matters is how you react to it. Your response is deliberate. You make the decision to safeguard your mind, maintain your tranquility, and make progress toward growth, rather than allowing yourself to be bound by outdated narratives or the expectations of others. From a psychological point of view, this sentence has a significant impact. Presented without hostility or defensiveness, it does not offer any possibility for manipulation or argument for the recipient. It sends the message that your borders are irrevocable and cannot be debated. The individual who is attempting to use your history as leverage is presented with a reality that they are unable to deny. You have progressed on your own, and your development cannot be controlled by their fixation. In a subtle way, it teaches children that judgment, criticism, and bitterness that looks backwards are ineffective against a person who has conquered themselves. This expression can also be utilized as a mental tool in practical situations. Repeat to yourself in your head, "If you're still talking about my past, you're no longer a part of my future." This should be done whenever you feel yourself being drawn into feelings of guilt, shame, or judgment due to either your own self-reflection or voices from the outside world. Your mind will be trained to prioritize your future over lingering ties to the past. Emotional sovereignty will be strengthened, and the habit of focusing on what you can control, such as your choices, actions, and growth, will be strengthened. Liberation is another aspect that can be found in this context. Self-preservation is not the same thing as cruelty. It is the act of letting go of those who are attached to your history. A quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius states, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself begins to disappear." Through the elimination of negative voices or individuals who are hesitant to acknowledge your progress, you are making room for connections, opportunities, and experiences that are congruent with your developmental trajectory. This means that you are no longer squandering your energy on those who are preoccupied with passing judgment. Rather, you are concentrating on the individuals and situations that are conducive to forward movement. The remark, "If you're still talking about my past, you're no longer part of my future," is, in the end, a statement that completes the circle of mastery of the subject matter. It ensures that your tranquility is preserved, establishes a barrier that cannot be broken, and declares that your development, wisdom, and evolution are non-negotiable. You have been molded by your history, but it does not determine who you are. You are the sole owner of your future, and others who are unable to respect that are no longer a part of your path. Simply utter this word once, with composure and self-assurance, and then proceed forward without turning around. It is not in defending the past that you will find your strength. Rather, it is in moving forward into a future that you completely own. When someone uses your history against you, they are exposing their own failure to develop as individuals. They want you to remain a tiny person, unable to move beyond who you were in the past. However, your history is not a chain. Rather, it is a teacher. Mistakes, regrets, and missed opportunities are the building blocks around which your strength is built. Please keep in mind the following comments from the Stoics the next time someone brings up your former self. That version of myself is no longer a resident of this location. Thank you for bringing to my attention how far I've come, I said. You appear to be stranded there. I've moved on with my life. Everyone has a history, she said. Some people do not grow as a result of it. The fact that you continue to discuss my history indicates that you are no longer a part of my future. You are the source of your own power. Being calm is your best defense. You have the ability to control both your present and your future, and your past serves as a lesson for you.